over 2 decades, China reigned supreme as the world's manufacturing giant, accounting for a staggering 28.4% of global output by 2024. But in 2025, everything flipped.
Everything flipped? I see you are being very diplomatic about these seismic shifts.
President Trump's return to the White House came with a trade shockwave, a crushing 145% tariff on Chinese goods, and a sweeping 10% tariff on nearly every other country. Factories worldwide are scrambling, supply chains are splintering, shipping routes are being rewritten in real time. And now the world is asking, who will replace China as the factory of the world? Enter Vietnam, a fast-rising powerhouse with cheap labor, investor-friendly policies, and a golden location. Some are calling it the new China. But can it truly wear that crown?
Vietnam is no China, not even close. Tiny factories, weak infrastructure, and zero innovation edge. Let's stop pretending a low-wage workforce can replace the world's most advanced industrial giant. Can Vietnam truly rise as the next global manufacturing powerhouse? Or if this nerdy me is actually right? Smash that like button, subscribe, and let's find the answer for this burning question together. The once unstoppable Chinese export machine is starting to sputter. For decades, China was the go-to factory for the world, producing everything, from smartphones to sneakers. But the tides are turning.
In 2024, the average annual wage for a Chinese manufacturing worker climbed well above $10,000, up from just $3,500 in 2010. That's nearly a threefold increase in labor costs, and it's forcing companies to rethink everything. But it's not just about money anymore. Geopolitical tensions have made China a risky bet. From tech bans to military posturing, foreign investors are increasingly wary. Add in concerns over intellectual property theft, strict regulations, and sudden COVID-style lockdowns, and confidence in China's reliability has eroded. Then came the knockout blow. In 2025, President Trump's second term hit with a bang, a 145% tariff on Chinese imports. Practically overnight, China-made goods became unaffordable for most US-bound trade. And to make matters worse, nearly every other country was slapped with a 10% blanket tariff, leaving corporations scrambling for new strategies. Now, efficiency and flexibility aren't just buzzwords, they're survival tools. Big brands like Apple, Nike, and Samsung are shifting operations. China's share of global exports, once over 14%, is slipping for the first time in decades. The global supply chain is being rewritten in real time.
And as the world hunts for a faster, cheaper, and more stable alternative, the spotlight is moving south to Vietnam. Could this be China's successor? Let's dig deeper. If there is a plan B to China, Vietnam is checking all the boxes.
Start with labor costs. While Chinese factory wages average over $760 a month, Vietnam's urban workers earn just around $356 a month, less than half. For companies looking to trim costs in a tariff-fueled world, that's a game changer. But it's not just about being cheap, it's about being connected. Vietnam stretches along a 3,200-kilometer coastline, giving it prime access to major shipping lanes and ports that serve East Asia's biggest economies, China, Japan, and South Korea. Its proximity means shorter supply lines and faster delivery, exactly what global brands now demand. Add to that Vietnam's impressive global integration. The country is a member of 18 major trade agreements, including CPTPP, RCEP, and EVFTA, giving it duty-free access to markets across Europe, Asia, and beyond. Its population of 100 million is not just young, with a median age of just 32, but surprisingly well-educated. In global education assessments like PISA, Vietnamese students outperform peers in the US and UK in math and science. And the government? Quietly effective, reform-minded, and laser-focused on attracting foreign investment, which has surged to over $36 billion in 2024 alone.
Vietnam is booming, and that's for sure. But it's not China, not yet.
As factories flood in, cracks are starting to show. Major ports like Cat Lai and Ho Chi Minh City are operating well above capacity, with container congestion causing costly delays. Roads are clogged, electricity grids strained, and industrial parks stretched thin. While Vietnam excels in textiles and electronics assembly, it's still lagging in high-tech manufacturing. The country faces a shortage of skilled engineers, and only about 25% of its workforce is considered highly skilled, far behind China's around 55%. Then there's scale. China's Pearl River Delta alone rivals entire nations in output. Vietnam simply doesn't yet have the massive industrial ecosystems or supplier networks to match that level of dominance. And compliance is another headache. In 2023, the US accused Vietnamese firms of disguising Chinese-made products to dodge tariffs, a red flag that could invite more scrutiny.
As we can see, Vietnam is rising fast, but its road to becoming the next China is still under construction. Despite Trump's 145% tariff shock and growing global skepticism, China remains a heavyweight in global manufacturing.
Its scale is colossal. Entire regions like the Yangtze River Delta produce more than most nations. In 2023, China still manufactured nearly 30% of the world's goods, and it does so with unmatched speed and precision. It's not just about low-cost labor anymore. China leads in automation, robotics, and AI-driven logistics. From vertically integrated factories to hyper-efficient shipping hubs, the country has built an industrial machine that's hard to rival. It dominates in tech-heavy sectors, producing 60% of the world's solar panels, over half of global electric vehicles, and still a massive chunk of electronics. Plus, Beijing isn't giving up. China is now offering state subsidies and tax breaks to help firms absorb tariff shocks. For many businesses, especially those in advanced manufacturing, it still makes sense to stay, or at least keep one foot in the door. But smart companies aren't choosing either/or anymore. They're choosing China plus one. This strategy is booming in 2025. Instead of pulling out entirely, firms are diversifying, keeping high-tech and capital-intensive operations in China, while shifting simpler, tariff-sensitive goods to Vietnam or other Southeast Asian nations. The goal? Supply chain resilience. In a fragmented world of trade wars, geopolitical shocks, and rising protectionism, putting all your eggs in one basket, even China's, is risky. Vietnam is perfectly positioned to be that plus one. It's geographically close, politically stable, and rapidly building infrastructure to absorb this wave of investment. Already, companies like Samsung, Apple suppliers, and Nike are deepening their footprint in Vietnam to balance risk and cost. It's not about replacing China. That's still a tall order. It's about building a smarter, safer global production map, one that weathers tariffs, tensions, and technological shifts. And right now, Vietnam is drawing the lines on that map. Vietnam is riding a geopolitical razor's edge. On one hand, it shares deep historical, economic, and ideological ties with China, its largest trading partner and a dominant presence in the region. Xi Jinping's recent state visit to Hanoi ended with a bold pledge: a shared future of strategic cooperation. China wants to solidify Vietnam as part of its orbit. On the other hand, Vietnam is fast becoming a darling of the West. In 2023, the US elevated Vietnam to a comprehensive strategic partner, a status it shares with just a few nations like India. American firms are pouring billions into Vietnamese factories, and Washington sees Hanoi as a critical counterweight to Beijing's rise. This balancing act is delicate. Vietnam welcomes investment from both powers but is cautious not to provoke either. It needs China's supply chains and America's markets. Its policy of bamboo diplomacy, flexible but rooted, is being tested like never before.
The real question is, can Vietnam stay neutral while reaping the benefits from both giants? Or will growing tensions eventually force it to pick a side and risk everything it's gained? The answer could shape Asia's economic future. By the way, write your own opinion in the comments. Vietnam is no longer just a rising star, it's now a serious global manufacturing player. But let's be clear, it's not one-to-one China replacement. Not yet. Instead, Vietnam is carving out its own lane in a fragmented new world. A world where 150% tariffs, geopolitical chess moves, and supply chain shocks are the norm, and no single country can do it all. In this new era, regional champions rise, each playing to their strengths. And Vietnam, it's not just surviving, it's thriving. With smart policies, global partnerships, and relentless momentum, it's become the ultimate plan B. And maybe, just maybe, the next great industrial powerhouse. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and share this video, so you never miss our upcoming content. Catch you in the next one.